Talk shoes.
Recorded live.
Hello, this is Kat Miller. It is Tuesday, July 26, 2011, and I'm here talking with Dane Kirby, who is a shaman. Welcome to you, Dane.
Thank you, dear. Glad to be back as always. What can I say? You have a great phone voice.
Tell us, for anyone who's tuning in for the first time, a little bit about what a shaman is.
Well, I work for Santa Claus, so if you've been naughty, you're done for. No. Basically, I'm the person that intercedes to find out what's going on in your life that's not working right. So if you're not getting where you believe you should be, I'm the person that you come see and we find out what's going on. And that could be any combination of things. Maybe you just need to talk. Could be a spiritual thing. Maybe you need somebody to do an out-of-body journey to go find out what's going on and what's holding you back or anything like that. So that's just one of the things that your typical everyday shaman does.
Very
And
well.
truthfully, we're all kind of different. You know, every shaman has their strengths that they play to, that they, do differently. But that's generally what it is. We're here for people.
Very good. Very well. What would you like to talk about today?
Well, let's go for forgiveness. That's a nice solid one.
Do you have anyone you need to forgive?
Oh, let's see. Being the good shaman that I am, I've done all my forgiving, and I'm actually quite good at not finding a reason to be angry at somebody else, so that I have to forgive them too.
Yeah.
So, but again, remember that's what I'm supposed to be doing for others. So I really have to do it for myself, so that I can do it right for others as well, to show them forgiveness.
Yeah, showing is so important. If you want somebody to be a certain way around you, be that way around them.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness. Some people would say forgiveness is condoning the behavior you're forgiving. And they hold on to unforgiveness because that person doesn't deserve to be forgiven. What they did was unforgivable.
And now you've just trapped yourself.
I ran across, actually, I think it was a link my daughter gave me. She put it on Facebook, if I'm remembering right, this weekend, that talked about, this is actually a landmark transformation that somebody had. And it was just really fascinating to read over what this lady had to say. Perhaps it would be good to read this to you guys, to everybody here, to kind of give you an idea about what forgiveness really is about, because it's really about you. It's like, this was about a year old. This was posted on somebody's blog about a year ago after they went to the Landmark Forum, Landmark is just a place that really has it together, and it has a way of putting your humanity in front of you and letting you see what being human is all about, how you became the person you are, and gets you to ground zero, where you can leave your past behind and just look at the future and be at nothing. And so this was written just after this lady had done her weekend at the forum, and it was just before she went to the Tuesday evening completion of the weekend there. And just so anybody that wants to know anything about what I'm talking about, landmarkeducation.org, either .net or .org. Anyway, if you just type in Landmark Education, you'll find them. So, here's what she says. This weekend, my life was transformed. I want to tell you about it. For months now, a very close friend, who is also one of my coaches, has been trying to get me to do the Landmark Forum, And I had been very effectively resisting. Behind all the usual, I'm too busy, the time's not right, my nanny's a little ill excuses. And after booking and canceling no less than 3 times before, this weekend I finally, and rather indignantly, did it. When you enroll in the forum, you have to write on the form 3 things you want to get out of it. Mine were to endure the entire 3 days. I'm notorious for getting bored, irritable, and bailing out of courses, projects, and commitments when things get uncomfortable. So it was a personal challenge for me to actually stick with something to the end. And notice my use of the word endure.
Definitely.
To clear the blocks, which seemed to be standing in the way of all my cosmic orders from working, and to try to understand why I had such an addictive personality, i.e. everything to excess. And so I sat there the first morning, one of 150 in the audience, thinking, there's no way I will last through this. These are not my kind of people. I'm not broken, so there's nothing to fix. And what the hell am I doing here? But I set myself a challenge to stay with it. 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. over 3 days, no matter what happened. A huge commitment for busy old me. As a trainer who runs my own workshops, I'm also fascinated to see how others do it. And I was instantly impressed by our forum leader. His loud and overbearing manner seemed to be irritating a lot of the audience, but it felt to me as though he was totally in command, and there was much exciting stuff to come. After the first 3 hours of being told about how our lives were playing out currently, the fact that we had never been properly listening up to now, the fact that we were never truly present to situations, we were then invited to leave if we wished to with a 100% refund. But if we stayed, it would be with a commitment to fully participate rather than just sit as an observer in the process. No one left. The whole weekend simply consisted of people getting up to the microphone and then David giving his observations. In the beginning, people were invited to say what they wanted to get out of the forum or what they wanted to know, and then as we progressed through the exercises, we were set at every break, and at the end of every day, we were invited to say what was unfolding for us. In the exercises, we were invited to be authentic with people close to us, to write letters to people, truly expressing how we felt, to make those phone calls that up to now we had been frightened of making. And as each person came to the microphone to share their experiences, certain stories were just incredibly emotional and moving. And every time you were truly moved to tears by someone else, you started to realize it was touching something very deep inside you. My first big breakthrough came at 5 a.m. the second morning when I suddenly woke up with a realization about my childhood, which was truly a, oh my God, that was so obvious. Why did I never see that before moment? My letter that first day was to my children, apologizing for not being a good enough mother to them. I'd been too busy chasing money, fame, and fortune all my life. And then later I had emotional conversations with 2 of them, which I'd never had before. By the end of the second day, I fully understood what had been driving the soap opera of my life. When you get to that point of realization, the soap opera collapses, it simply falls away. I knew from my previous transformational work that it was important to hold the space to see what else was going to happen. So it's so easy to think I got it now. I'm fixed and sorted and switched off. So I stuck with it. By the end of day 3, I finally understood the meaning of life. Yes, I really got it. I spent the past 5 years reading all the self-improvement and transformational books going, plus attending lots of courses and seminars and experiences around the subject, including meditation and all the rest. But I can truly say that I have not experienced anything as powerfully transformational as the Landmark Forum. It was not a teaching or something to learn so much as a process, a transformational experience. And it's not about getting. better improved version of the old you. It's about getting a totally new perspective on life, and it addresses parts of you which you had no idea whatsoever existed, let alone supported. As part of the course, at various points, we were invited to enroll others in the Landmark Forum, the idea being once you got it, it's easier to make life. I'm thinking I'm going to skip down a little ways here, because as it turns out, this is pretty long, and I forgot how long it was. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe this isn't what it was I was reading about the forgiveness stuff either. I just know there was something
now
I
she
was
did,
reading about it.
She was asking for her children to forgive her.
Yes, she was. Yeah. Okay, let me just go. I was wrong. It's not as long as I thought it was. It's a blog, and there's a bunch of responses below. So, let's see. As part of the course, at various points, we were invited to enroll others in the Landmark Forum, the idea being once you got it, it's easier to make life work when others around you get it too. But every time the message came up, it was interesting to observe the huge resistance which started to fall on the room. As a marketer, I think I understand practically every marketing technique and sales process there is going, and I too have sat through those inspirational, motivational events which are simply about trying to upsell me to the $10,000 program. This is not such upsell. It was simply asking us to consider who else we knew out there who might also benefit from going through the process, particularly our loved ones. Isn't it strange that we can easily go out and think nothing about spending $300 on a new handbag or TV, but when we are invited to spend the same money on completely transforming our life, somehow it's a sales con? Isn't it strange how we attach so much importance to cost in life and so little to value? On the Sunday evening, previous graduates of the program who had gotten their loved ones to the forum were invited along. People on the course were invited to come to the microphone and give a message to that person. One woman was in tears telling her husband how much she loved him, how she was so sorry for being self-righteous, selfish cow up till now, and how she was now going to commit to making their marriage work. Old cynical me would have written that off as vomit-inducing schmuck. Newly transformed me sees that as something truly magical. It's only a day since the intensive part of the forum has ended, but already I have seen some incredible changes in my life. I'm starting to show up in a totally different way in every situation. My relationships with my children and how I am when I am with them has been completely transformed, and my energy must certainly somehow have shifted. As suddenly complete strangers are opening up conversations and having little jokes with me. I even sat having a conversation with a man opposite on the train from Birmingham to Manchester yesterday, and that would certainly not have happened in my old life. The forum ends up with a graduation evening night, and this is where she's asking people to come to her graduation night. But what they do there is, at the Landmark Forum, is they get you to focus and realize not only are you holding a lot of grudges which are making your life what it is.
Oh, yeah.
But they get you to let it go, to change it. And all those things that you see that are wrong with all of those people in your life, they're reflections. What's going on with you? I had somebody the other night who told me that all this time he thought his wife was harsh and unforgiving and just hard to live with. And it was actually after reading this, and I must have sent him something else because there was something else on forgiveness that I read this past weekend. he suddenly realized that he was the one who was unforgiving, one that was making life miserable. And when he realized that, and he completely changed his attitude, and he forgave her completely for all of the things that she had said, that she had done, that had upset him, their relationship hugely changed. Because it was, I had been telling him for about forever that it's not about you, it's about me. That what they are experiencing has nothing to do with you, and what you are experiencing has nothing to do with them. It is all a story in your own head. You're making it up.
Yeah.
And you have what happens, and you have your interpretation of what happens. And we tend to lend much more weight to the interpretation than to what happened.
Well, that means because of our filters. And it's so much easier just to deal with it the way it comes in, even if your filters are skewed, than it is to realize, whoa, I have filters I need to fix? Well,
it's not about fixing it either. You don't need to fix filters. It's about getting an awareness that those filters are there, and that you have a choice of which filter you want to use.
Yep. Or no filter.
Well, it's human. You're going to have filters. You cannot just look at the sky and say, the sky is blue, the house is tall, the train makes noise. You can't do that. That is kindergarten, first grade reading. We like the novels where it is not that there is just a man that walks by. No, this man, we want to hear all about what he looks like, how he has that beautiful glistening tan, how he has those deep blue eyes, how his hair is, you just want to run your fingers through it. It looks so silky.
So you're talking about George Hamilton.
We want to have a description that we can hook onto and that we can actually feel emotional about. And so we add meaning to things. It's not, the grass is not just there. The grass is green and it's tickling your feet and it feels so good on the bottom of you, the soles of your feet, and you like to lie down in it. I mean, there's just a huge story that you can build around any little thing. What is changing or life-changing or transforming is realizing that that's all it is. It's a story you built, and you can look at it from another perspective and build a whole nother story on it. Chances are, when whoever did to you that unforgivable thing, they didn't even know they did it. Or you did something that they saw as unforgivable, and that was a retaliation.
The biggest one I've seen for forgiveness, just hands down, bigger than any of them, is if somebody dies on you. It's amazing how people are like, that jerk, can't believe they died on me. And, it usually goes much worse than that, Oh, my God. It's amazing how many people really get wound up and livid about somebody dying on them. It's a personal assault. And so many people, look, folks, it was that person's time. just the way it is. That's their life. It's not your life. So why are you attaching anger to that death? Now you've got a whole skewed mess of things that you're doing that you end up having to work out later. So it's that literally has been the one I've seen the most of. And it's funny that I was researching about that this weekend actually, because I was dealing with somebody that had the issue. Literally, somebody had died, and I mean, they were livid. It was all their fault. The person that died, it was all their fault. And so we were working through this for them, and then I decided I wanted to, just something started bugging me, that little voice in the ear that says, hey, start doing a little research. And I just randomly went, computer, started typing on the keyboard, and the next thing I know, I came up with Ho'oponopono. And I'm like, oh, really? And I have to admit, I have been trying to find the Self-Identity, the first book of the 3. I can't find any of the books. So if you're connected, dear, because I know you're a Ho'oponopono person, if you got some connections, I would like to find those 3 books. But the whole, if you would, since it's more you're in, would you explain the Ho'oponopono so people get it? Because it seems very fitting considering what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah. Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian healing technique, and the center of it is about you are 100% responsible for your world and everything in it. And so when you are experiencing somebody in your life who has illness, or you have run-ins with them, negative energy between you, it is your fault. There is something about you that is causing you to experience them in this way. And so Ho'oponopono is a forgiveness process which says, go into yourself and ask, what is it about me that is causing me to experience you in this way?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, please forgive me. Or excuse me, it starts off, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. Those are your main Ho'oponopono statements, the core of Ho'oponopono.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a forgiveness process. You are acknowledging that there's something that you're sorry about.
Mm-hmm.
That you've seen something somehow in a perspective that has caused a problem. And now you want the problem to go away. And how you do that is you take and you apologize. And you ask for forgiveness. And then you put the gratitude, the appreciation, and then the love. I actually have a switch phrase, imagine that, that embodies the Ho'oponopono. And let me look at it here. Okay. It's down 53, forgive, reverse, hold, thanks, love, be. And this is a breakdown of that switch phrase into switch word pairs that are switch word way of saying the Ho'oponopono. Down 53 is to stop bragging. and take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's humbling to say, I'm sorry. And so this is taking you down from that bragging position and putting you in a space of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And the next is forgive, reverse, which is to eliminate remorse and desire for revenge and to bury the grudge. Hold, thanks, is to build character and to stop regretting. And then love B is to generate, radiate, and experience love and acceptance and to be at peace and unaffected by ridicule. And so that switch phrase, the down 53, forgive, reverse, hold, thanks, love, be, is about getting rid of all of those negative feelings, all of those negativities, and releasing and accepting. The thing that's really cool about love, the switch word love, listen to the definition. It is to generate. That means to make it, to bring it from within, to radiate. That is to broadcast it out to the world, the people around you, and experience. That means that you get to feel it too. Love and acceptance. Accepting what is, who is, accepting those people around you. Why do you have to hold something against somebody when it's just them being them? You can't slice up a person and say, well, I like this about you, but I don't like that, and so I'm not going to accept that, but I'm going to take this part of you, and whenever that part of you comes around, I don't want to be here. No, it's a whole package. It's one person, and chances are the parts that you like the most, that you love the most about them, are directly related to the parts you like least. You love the responsibility, the way the person stands up for themselves, for their family, and the way they really take on responsibility, but you hate how much time they put into their job. That's the same part of the personality. The part of the personality that is being standing up for the family, that is being responsible, that is taking care of everything, and doing that not only for the family, but for the company and for other people in their lives. And so the resentment that you feel toward them for giving to others outside the family is part of exactly the reason you love them so much, for what it is that they are doing for the family too. And so there are parts that really go together, and you wouldn't have the one without the other part. Can't you just take them exactly as they are? It is forgiveness, love, acceptance. That's all about accepting somebody exactly as they are and exactly as they are not. If you wish
if
they
you
were
pay attention to it, how many people of your friends that you know that if you put them in certain situations, they're going to crash and burn, that they're not built to cover whatever it is. And if it's a good friend, you're going to know that. But then also, how many people will sit there and jiggle their friends a little and push those buttons too, just to watch them twitch?
Another thought. This is something that you can do to yourself. If there is an irritating habit that somebody has that drives you nuts, start doing it yourself. Like friends of my daughter, they actually have 2 toilet paper rollers in all of their bathrooms in their house. Why?
Stereo toilet paper? Huh.
Do you want to know why?
Sure.
Neither one of them is willing to give up which way the toilet paper should roll. One
up or down?
absolutely wants it rolling down. One wants it up. And they want it, rolling off the back, rolling off the front, whichever.
Yeah, up or down. Yeah.
So
I always thought that was a male and female thing.
Well, I don't think so. And these guys, it's just really fascinating to see that they have gone to that kind of an extreme.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you don't like the toilet paper rolling out the back, rolling down, whatever, try putting it on that way, making it a point to put the toilet paper on the roller the way you can't stand it because you're the one doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It begins to build tolerance. Are you one of those that squeezes the toothpaste from the center, or are you one that rolls it from the bottom? The ones that roll it from the bottom get all pissy sometimes, but the ones that squeeze it in the middle. And so you have this ugly tube of toothpaste, and every time that you use it, you make it all pretty, and then they come along and they squeeze it in the middle.
You just want to beat them with the tube of toothpaste, yeah.
How ridiculous is it that we get this excited and this upset about these simple little things? To get outside it, to begin to lose your sensitivity to it and begin forgiving them, start doing it yourself. Because now there's nowhere you need to go to forgive. There's nothing. You're doing it. And it begins to open you up and allow you to accept differences in others. You accept the ones you love exactly as they are and exactly as they are not.
And there's nothing you can do to change them. It's up to them.
Everything is subjective. You judge them to be wrong because they don't do it the way you do it.
Right.
There is no right or wrong.
Here's one for you. And this is more than just a Western thing. I used to think it was just a Western attitude, and I've found out over the decades it's not. It's more of a pure ego issue that people are like, but if I do all this forgiving and forgiveness, I'm just going to get walked all over. What about my jerk of a boss that already tramples me, and if I forgive him, he's going to trample me even more?
What if he's trampling you because you don't forgive?
And that's the one that, again, I used to think it was a Western attitude until I realized it wasn't. It's pure ego. Once you forgive it, then there's no button to be pushed. There's no anything for them to hang on to because you're hanging on to your thing, and they're both let go. You find out that that problem goes away when you actually, truly do forgive.
And when you start to go back to that space where you go, oh, see, that, then you just remind yourself, oh, wait a minute, that was forgiven. It's okay that he puts the toilet paper on backwards because to him, the way I put it on is backwards. And there is no right or wrong way to do the toilet paper. Just don't do it all, put the whole roll in the toilet. That's all we ask. Putting it on the roller anyway is okay.
I was waiting for you to tell me one person liked the uber soft and one person liked the sandpaper too. But, and
well, it's kind of funny. My husband generally buys the foods and general supplies for the house over at my daughter's. He just, makes his trip down to Costco a couple times a month, and he buys for my household and for her household. And he buys the, ultra soft double ply toilet paper. And she made a comment one time, oh, I always buy the cheap one-ply stuff, hard stuff, whatever, the cheap one-ply hard stuff because, well, first of all, I have toddlers, youngsters, and it's hard to plug up the toilet with that.
Okay, that's efficient.
Dad, however, didn't succumb to her idea and start buying the kind of toilet paper that she said she always bought. She didn't tell him he had to. She just said, well, I do this. And Dad continued to buy the way he buys it. And sometime later she said, my butt thanks you. And so she accepted. He wasn't willing. You want me to buy you the toilet paper? You're going to deal with the toilet paper I buy you, was kind of his attitude. And she's like, I can accept that. And so there are, we have our little idiosyncrasies, the little things that get to us. And when we stop and we go, does it really matter? Is it really that important? Then we realize, no, after all, it's not that important. I can let it go. It's no big deal. And even if it is a big deal, that becomes even more important to let it go because it is affecting your energy. You and you alone are suffering from that unforgiveness. Say your parent did something, beat you when you were a child, or always talked down to you, or always told you negative things about you, never could say, you look beautiful. They always said, why is your hair always such a mess? Why can't you do anything right? Why did you fail this test? If they are always negative and you're holding on to it, you're grabbing that negative energy and you're just holding on to it almost for dear life, that you've got to continue to be unacceptable to them because you're holding on to a statement that they made that you interpreted as meaning you're unacceptable to them. You're not good enough for them. You aren't what they want you to be. So when you hold on to that unforgiveness, you stay in that space. Do you really want to stay in the space of I am not good enough? Those weren't their words. That's just the way you interpreted their words. Their words were, I think you could have done better, or their words were, why did you fail this? Or their words were, why did you get this low of grade? They were asking you a question. They were wanting to know what it was that affected you. They weren't telling you you're worthless. They weren't telling you that you're not good enough. No, they were asking you a question. You interpreted it.
Well, now, even if they were telling you, if you had those parents, that you're not worth 2 cents, yada, 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 still, forgiving it and letting it go, it's only saving it's only making your life better.
If they said that to you, it wasn't really about you.
Right. It was all about them and their relationship with their parents, most likely, that kind of thing. This is how you break cycles that have been going around for generations, is by forgiving it.
Exactly. Forgiveness.
Truthfully, like a good shaman, I might as well use myself for the example here. When I was younger, straight off the path, shall we say, I did some incredibly brutal, vicious things growing up because I had decided that the world was a brutal, vicious place and I was going to give better than I got. I turned out to be definitely one of those angry young men needing his ears pinned back, okay? Then there came that dark night of the soul when I'm literally just standing out in a parking lot going, what the hell happened here? Where did it all go? I was taught differently than this. I am better than this. What happened? And I could sit there and, oh, it's my parents, oh, it was my mom committing suicide, oh, it was this, oh, it was that. And you know what it came down to? Is I realized I had to start with me. I had to forgive me right off the bat. And then suddenly, I was able to start forgiving others, because once I forgave myself, I started filling up with my own self-worth, my own self-power again. And truthfully, it wasn't a fast process. I didn't do this in 15 minutes and I was all done. It actually took a few years to truly keep going. So it works, folks. I mean, I even have, how do you put this? I never do like that word clientele. The folks that come see me have changed considerably over the years. I used to get the kind of people that would basically just piss me off. Like, really? Are you that blind to what's going on in your life? Until I realized, well, hold it, that's my problem. Suddenly, truthfully, I'm getting the same exact people today, but I have changed because I forgave them, I forgave me, because I said to truly help people and to be the shaman I am meant to be, how dare I hold on to anything like that? I have to let it all go so that I can do what I'm meant to do. That includes me, that includes them, that includes you if I ever deal with you. You know, and it's an ongoing thing because, yeah, I'm human, I'm physical, and there are days driving in southeast Michigan where people really probably shouldn't even be driving a horse, much less a 3,000-pound car. But I just look at it like it's a practice arena for me when I get out there, and that's what it's all about. You start at the very center of your universe, and that's you. Forgive yourself first. Keep forgiving yourself. And you're gonna be aware of it. You'll feel it, taste it, smell it, touch it. Things will look brighter. You'll be aware of things that you didn't pay attention to before. And then there's going to come the day where you're going to go, that used to really piss me off about this person, but now I think it's cute and cool, and I understand why they do that, and it makes sense. Then you realize you're getting somewhere. Keep going. And just keep going with it. If you've got a scary one, like you don't want to forgive a parent, and so what if they were completely useless as a parent to you? Doesn't matter. Forgive them anyway, but start with yourself first.
And it's amazing. Hold on to it.
Yeah, you have to. And if you don't start with yourself, a lot of times it's just harder to hold on to it. Whereas if you get your own act cleaned up first, it's much easier to forgive somebody, and it holds. You are truly mean it at all levels of your being. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's always much easier to go over and paint somebody else's house than to paint your own. You know what I mean? So you want to start, it's out there. I'm not the problem. Or I don't have the issue. It's out there. Start with yourself first. Start with the big one first.
Once you realize that you are the creator of your world, and you realize that you can put on different filters if you choose to, you can begin to see situations very different from how you thought they were to begin with. What you saw was looking through a keyhole. You didn't see the whole thing. Thinking, look through another keyhole and another keyhole. Maybe you can get a little bit better picture of things. Nobody begins their life with the intention of causing other people problems. It is, always will be, all about self. When somebody accuses you of being selfish, they're being selfish too, because they are accusing you of not thinking about them. And who are they thinking about when they are accusing you of not thinking about them? Of course, they're thinking about them. You're human. You are selfish. Get over it. And everyone else is. Get over it.
Yeah. Start living.
It's always what's in it for me.
Mhm.
It's human. Get over it.
Mhm.
And I want to look good. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's human too. Get over it.
Mhm.
I don't want to look bad. Yeah, that's human too. Get over it.
Mhm.
Stop worrying about what everybody else thinks about you, because when you stop worrying about faith, stop worrying about the facade, stop worrying about how everybody else is going to react to whatever it is that you're doing, and you start just being you, people are drawn to you.
Mhm.
People begin to see the virtues that you hold on to, the things that are you, and they begin to really like you. What you were putting up before was what you thought that would make you look good to them.
Mhm.
And you're resenting them for making you do that, but they're not making you do that. How silly is that? You're the one that's doing it, and you're choosing to do it. You're not being made to do it. You don't have to do it. You're just doing it.
More humans are chasing their own tail like a dog than they possibly realize. That's an image I'll use for people, too, that aren't getting it or they're intentionally being stubborn about it. And I'll tell them, look, you ever seen a dog chase their tail? And most people have. And I'm like, okay, that's exactly what's going on in your life anytime you do this. It's no different. You're chasing your own tail. And it's amazing how that will break the cycle for them, just because they can sit there and either get ticked off and then laugh about it, because you have to admit a dog chasing its tail is reasonably funny depending on the dog, but you don't want that poor dog to keep chasing its tail. So, and it soaks into people. It's a filter they understand. So
I saw a video the other day of a dog chasing an ice cube. Now that's funny scene. Is the dog is never going to get the ice cube into its mouth, and the ice cube is melting, and so it's sliding all over the floor. The dog chasing it, and that's a much better visual. Visual.
And then you get your floor cleaned by the dog tongue. Yeah.
But it is silly what we do, but it is human, and everybody does it. And when you find yourself doing it, all you need to do is go, oh. Yeah, there I am again, being human. Giggle, giggle, giggle. I did it again. And then forgive yourself and move on.
Yeah, I've gotten to where I'll throw a few giggle, giggle, giggles in there, too, on that.
What fun. You can't even say giggle, giggle without giggle.
Yeah.
It makes you want to laugh and giggle when you say it.
Yeah, you have to, because you put it out there, and it's like, oh, I'm right here, and you're gonna. So, that's it. And if you look at a mirror when you say the giggle, 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 you can do your best to try and hold a straight face. It's not happening. You're going to see a twitch, then you're going to see a laugh, and just keep going, and you're going to start laughing. And all you were doing was saying giggle, giggle, giggle to the mirror.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Totally funny what we do.
Cool.
And so it looks like we've gone a pretty good spell here today. It's interesting to see where things go. The Landmark Forum is an amazing thing for helping you to get past that, to see that. And one of the things that they will tell you is you are now an adult. Your parents' job was to get you into adulthood. They succeeded. That is the only thing that was their job. Get over everything else. They owe you nothing else. Forgive them for whatever they did that you perceived as being wrong. It doesn't matter what it was. Forgive them, let it go. And you will find also at the Blue Iris Learning Center, that's blueiris.org, BLUEIRIS.org, Blue Iris as in the flower, the blue iris. If you go there and you look at actually you can do a search for prayer of forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing prayer that you can say every day. If you do it once a day, every day, for 30 days, you'll begin to get it and actually begin to release and forgive the people in your life for the things. Nobody knows what you want, least of all you. And
well stated. Yeah.
So forgive the people in your life for not knowing what you wanted. First of all, because probably you didn't say what you wanted. And secondly, because when you did tell them what you wanted, you didn't explain it in a way that they could understand it. Let it go. Everybody's doing the best that they can. And you are the one that is hurting yourself by holding on to that anger, resentment, those grudges, being unforgiving. It's you. It's only you. You are hurting. It is not them. You are hurting. So, it's not condoning. It's just forgiving. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we will talk to you again soon.